Today, we are talking about financial comfort zone, and we are in a part 2 of a 3-part series. Hello everyone. This is Brie, Sodano, personal finance expert, the founder of From Sheep to Shark. I invented the invisible system to stop bleeding money and start stacking cash. Last time we talked about what is your financial comfort zone, how does it matter, and how to determine where you are and the gap between where it is that you are and where it is that you want to be. So make sure that you check out the last one because that will make this video make more sense. Today, what we're going to be talking about is self-sabotage. Our financial comfort zone is the area where we're most familiar. And when you're trying to grow your capacity, most of my clients are coming to see me. They want to earn more money. They want to pay off their debt. They want to be able to save more. They want to take their spending down or be able to spend more. The reason why they have hired me is because they want to be somewhere different than where they've been. And most of my clients are incredibly smart, incredibly successful people. And so they've tried this on their own. Self-sabotage is what gets in the way. So let's just say your familiarity, your regular financial life is here. But your potential, where you want to be, where you're capable of being, is up here. There's this whole big gap, right? You guys see my face right there? There's this whole big gap. And once your positioning starts getting out of that familiarity zone and moving toward where it is that you want to be, you open yourself up to self-sabotage. Now, the number one reason why you are going to self-sabotage is because you're uncomfortable. Your brain is fearful. And even though this to your conscious mind doesn't make sense, you're like, how does making more money make me nervous? That doesn't even make sense. But oftentimes your brain just knows that it can survive. And so as you start to move into different territory, you'll find some fears there. The first thing that you want to do to avoid self-sabotage is you want to watch the video from last week and really become aware of where it is that your zone of familiarity is and where it is that you want to go. And you want to be aware when you're in that gap, because that's generally where self-sabotage is going to happen. It's generally not going to be self-sabotaging when you're in your zone. When you're in your zone of comfort, that's generally not where you see self-sabotage happening. So it's going to be there. So you want to be aware, I am in new territory here, because then you can have the wherewithal to be able to question whether or not, am I self-sabotaging? Am I? Is this a possibility here? The second thing that you want to do is when you're outside of that comfort zone, and you can do this before you're outside of the comfort zone, you want to start to notice any fears that you have. Do you have any fears about making more money? Does anything about that freak you out? I've had clients say, you know what? I could never make more money than my dad. It's just so weird. Are there any beliefs that are keeping you in that familiarity zone? So you want to start to notice those things and really start to question any beliefs that you have. You want to start to question your beliefs, your patterns, your behaviors around those things. Like sometimes the fears around money are incredibly irrational when you look at them in the light. I'll tell you, I had some fears that I was going to be responsible for people that I'm not actually responsible for. So I was like, well, if I make this kind of money, I'm going to have to pay for stuff. None of that was true. And the fears that live in the subconscious, they just have control over you. When you take them out and you look at them and you're like, this doesn't even make sense. That's the next step. So you want to have awareness when you're outside of your comfort zone. As you start to journal on your subconscious fears, you do not want to have these thoughts curated. You don't want to just be in your conscious mind. You want to be in your subconscious mind. So the way that I suggest doing this is to kind of just get comfortable, sit with yourself for a couple minutes. If you know how to meditate, get into a little bit of a meditative state, and then take out your journal and free write. No punctuation, none of those higher thought processes. You really want to get into the subconscious. You want to give your subconscious a voice. And so that's going to come out more artistically. You're going to find a whole different set of handwriting. It's incredibly interesting. You're going to love it. So the second really part of avoiding self-sabotage is you want to become aware of your favorite flavors of self-sabotage. We all kind of mess with ourselves in different ways. So you want to look back at any patterns that you've had. You want to start to notice any times that you've been outside of your comfort zone. Things are really rocking and rolling. Things are doing great. And then all of a sudden you lose interest in your project. That's a common one for me. Or you start procrastinating. You can't seem to find the motivation to finish something. Sometimes our favorite flavors are sabotage our body issues. Like we'll get sick, we'll have a flu the same day that our job interview is, or we'll get hurt the same day that we have a presentation. sometimes we'll self-sabotage in our relationships. And so, you get into a fight with your love or your mom. It doesn't seem like that would have anything to do with money, but it's bringing equilibrium back. If you're not used to feeling super good, sometimes your subconscious will be like, all right, well, we're feeling super good recently, and that's weird. So if we get into a fight, it'll balance out. It'll be fine. So you want to start to become aware of your personal favorite flavors of self-sabotage. We all have our own little bag of tricks, if you will, to torture ourselves. Gay Hendricks has a great book on this exact topic. He calls it Upper Limit Problems, called The Big Leap. And if you're someone who has a lot of self-sabotage, it's a really good read. So I'd suggest that. The last thing that you want to do to avoid self-sabotage is you're going to probably need to get some help. You're going to need your friends to notice, your coworkers to notice, and to be comfortable to say these things to you, because nobody self-sabotages from their conscious mind. Nobody's like, you know what, things have been going really fantastic. On Tuesday, I'm going to ruin it all for myself. Like, that's generally not how that goes. And so if you have some really good friends that know you're outside of your comfort zone, they can kind of watch out for you to help you question some of your behaviors before you have to deal with the consequences of those things. Because self-sabotage it's an interesting thing, because you generally cannot see it for yourself until hindsight. You generally can't see it as it's happening, because it never feels like you're sabotaging yourself. It just feels like something's going wrong. Those are things that you want to do. So you want to be aware of your current comfort zone and where you want to be going. You want to be looking into your subconscious and journaling on any fears or limiting beliefs that are in the way. You want to become aware of your personal favorite flavors of self-sabotage, so that way you can recognize your patterns as they're starting to happen instead of after they're happened. And if you work with a coach, this is a huge part of the work that I do with my clients, is learning these patterns with them, and then lovingly and gently, of course, but calling them out and catching them before the sabotage actually takes place. But you can do this with a friend or anybody who really knows you and is comfortable to lovingly and gently, of course, call you out on your crap as you're going. So again, this is part 2 of a 3-part series. So in the next video, we will be talking about how to overcome that and how to really stretch that comfort zone. So that's what we will be talking about in part 3. All right. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one.